Lobotomy Corporation is set in a place called The City, but it's more like a continent. The city is ruled by the head, a mysterious person or a group pulling the strings. It is divided into 26 districts, and each of those districts is controlled by one of the 26 megacorps that are called wings. Those megacorps have some technology that benefits the city in some way, which are called singularities. Districts are also divided into two parts, nests and the backstreets, where nests are your typical good cities and backstreets are just mega ghettos. There are also outskirts. It's the lands outside of the city, which are nothing more than a wasteland with monsters. Somewhere in one of the nests lives a woman named Carmen. Carmen was a genius scientist who thought that the city is sick with hopelessness and nihilism, but she could treat it. She, alongside her friends Ayn and Benjamin, built a lab in the outskirts, where nobody would stop their studies, but soon enough Carmen realized that she needed more people. The thing about Carmen is that she is extremely smart and charming, but also extremely naive. So to recruit people, she just went to the back streets and started talking about her ideas everywhere she could. If she continued this, she would have probably got killed, but luckily she met Kali. Kali at that time was a grade 2 fixer. Fixers are the city's mercenaries who take any job they can. They are also graded 1 through 9, where 1 is the best grade. Kali wanted to know what could someone from the nest even know about backstreet struggles. Carmen without a doubt told her that she could break the cycle of suffering. Kali got so mad that she started screaming at her, expecting Carmen to start whimpering, but instead she suggested that they talk about common problems. After that, Kali joined Carmen's team. After a while, Kali and Carmen kidnapped a guy from the nest to get revenge on him, but when they revealed his face, they realized they've got the wrong guy. The man they kidnapped was a rich businessman called Daniel. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth and could get anything he wanted, but he was also really smart and landed a job in one of the most prestigious companies. But ultimately, David grew bored of this lifestyle. He expected an apology from Carmen, but instead got an invitation to work with her. This completely unexpected turn of events made him curious, and after some time he accepted the offer. Soon after, the first team, consisting of Carmen, Ayn, Benjamin, Kali, David, little Enoch and his sister Lisa, who they saved from the streets, perfectionist Gabriel, Carmen's always tired friend Giovanni, girls Elia and Michelle was born. Carmen discovered a substance called cogito that could manifest human mind into existence, but it was scarce and needed something called light. Light is made through working with abnormalities. First abnormalities were created naturally by the old river, which is basically where everything came from. The old river usually flows deep within the ground, but there are places where it can be accessed. Experiments were going great and they wanted to up the ante, create man-made abnormalities. But there was one little problem. The team needed to experiment on a human being. The first test subject was a murderer. He was so mad that not even prison guards could do anything, so they gladly gave him away. After he was injected for some time he got better, but soon he started to bash his head against the wall and managed to kill one guard. They decided to dissect his brain, but even after that he did not die. Experiments continued, and Carmen once again made something big. She converted one of the abnormalities into a big heavy sword and gave it to Kali. At first she thought that it was just a nuance, but soon it began to whisper. She was afraid she'll go insane and was considering giving it back when one day in a fight she decided to listen. She blacked out, and when she woke up her body was covered in armor. She achieved something called ego. Ego is one's thoughts manifested into reality, so Kali technically was cured from the city's disease. With this new power she was given the color fixer status and the name Red Mist. Color fixers are so strong that they exist above the scale. Soon enough the team needed another subject, and the most suitable person they had found was Carmen herself. Nobody wanted to do it because everyone at least somewhat liked her. That's when Enoch volunteered. The lab was a lot better than the backstreets and he wanted to pay everyone back. After a while everyone agreed. Unfortunately he did not survive. His sister Lisa was devastated and told Carmen that she was supposed to die there, not Enoch. After that day everything everything went wrong. One day, Carmen was nowhere to be seen. Ian started looking for her and found that bathroom was closed. When he managed to get in, Carmen was already unconscious in a bath full of blood. Unconscious, but not dead. A tad before, Ian promised Carmen that he will finish her project no matter what, so he did what he had to do. Ian extracted her nervous system and put it in a tanker to keep part of her alive. Using her, they could produce almost limitless amounts of cogito and make their own abnormalities. Carmen's death struck hard, but with these new abnormalities they've made a breakthrough. With the right circumstances, abnos could make pure energy. They called it enkephalin. Not only it's completely safe for the environment, but it can also be used as a drug. One by one, terrible things started to happen. Elia injected herself with cogito and started rapidly deteriorating. Gabriel started cutting himself, so they restrained him. Michelle got approached by an arbiter Garion and was pressured to tell her about the lab. Arbiters are an extremely powerful assets of the head. If you see an arbiter, pray. There is no point in running at that point. Usually the head doesn't look into the outskirts much, but when they found out about the lab, Klaus and an arbiter were sent. Klaus are also heads and forces, but not as powerful. What happened there was nothing less of a massacre. David, trying to save his friends, freed abnormalities, but eventually everyone except Anne and Benjamin were killed. Kali wasn't there at the start of the attack, but when she came back she killed every abnormality, took loss and clashed with Garion. In the battle she lost an eye and an arm. Garion was sure she won and started toying with Kali. That's when she surprise attacked her using ego. Both of them were fatally injured. Yes, 99.9% of the lab was killed, but this is actually a success. They've managed to defend themselves from the head, and Ian couldn't let this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity go to waste. He hooked Garen to a computer to find information in her memories. In the end, he had conceived an idea that most would call mad. If he had to hide his research, the best place to put it would be where the head wouldn't look. He decided to become one of the wings, and to do that he needed to take someone's place. Benjamin and him decided that they need to replace old L Corp, who produced energy, but heavily polluted and gouged prices. He enlisted help from other wings and eradicated old L Corp in the events which later will be called the Smoke War. Ian built his own wing, which he called Lobotomy Corporation. Oh my god, he said the thing! Now he needed to be way more cautious. So he built branches in other districts to generate energy, while they continued to collect light in the main lab. He, alongside Benjamin, put remains of their friends in machine bodies, creating Sephiroths, machines with limited memories, and gave them jurisdiction of different departments. They also tried to do it with Carmen, but they couldn't get enough of her brain, so the result was nothing like her. It was an AI at best. They called her Angela. Things seemed better, but there still was a problem. To gather this much light they needed years, which they obviously didn't have. So Ian reached out to another wing. This wing gave newly made L Corp their singularity, which can slow down and loop time. Also, Ian created a script for Angela. It was a protocol that gave her instructions on how to act in seemingly every situation. Extraction of light was actually split into two parts: working with abnormalities and realizing Sephiroths. Realizing means making them remember their past and helping them get over it. At first this seemed to work, but soon enough Ian realized that he can't take this much stress. His depression became worse and he even tried to kill himself once. To combat this, he installed a mental filter to censor reality and decided to wipe his memory every loop. Benjamin, seeing all this, decided to leave. This is where the game begins, and yes, I know this is almost the end of the video. Benjamin tries to help X, that is to say Ian, end this madness, but Ian made a contingency for this, which is Angela killing him and turning into a Sephiroth. The game has 4 endings, albeit only one is canon, because in others Angela just restarts the cycle. Through realization of Sephiroth, Ian better understands himself, giving him different outcomes. The first ending is Abel. He accepted that his plan won't work and just kept doing his job as a win. If you overcome Abel, X will meet Abraham. This version of himself regrets meeting Carmen and continuing her work. The next one is Adam. He wants to make Carmen's plan come true and turn everyone into an abnormality, but in doing so he will take away their free will. He thinks that fear is holding humanity back and wants to get rid of it, but people need to face the fear, to build a future, not try to hide it. Ian should help humanity shape itself, not do it for them. On the final 50th day, X meets Ayn himself. Not him, not Sephiroth will live long enough to see the results of their work. Once they release the light, all of them will fall asleep, because they work to save humanity, not themselves. Ayn begins the process, which was supposed to go for 7 days, but after only 3, Angela stops it. Ayn made a crucial mistake. When he was making Angela, he gave her feelings, but when he saw she was different from Carmen, he started treating her as a machine. All these hundreds of thousands of years, she was the only one who remembered the loops, and each time her resentment grew, which led to her rebelling against Ayn. She forced Sephiroth to join her plan, and they started building the library. But more about that later. Phew, this is actually over. If you like this shitpost, then please subscribe, comment and like. Your interactions really help. Trust me, this video was actually just a setup for the next game, Library of Ruina, on which I'm gonna do a long form video I think. This is all. See you in the next one.